First thing that I do is look at the invoices and see if I have to send anything for that day from the previous day. I take a look into my bank account, see whatever transactions I had that and the previous day. If it's beginning of the week, then I would probably do a payroll and finish that and have it ready for Thursday where I can just release it. Basically, what you do is after you get to the computer in the morning, look for loads if you have any loads, or if someone had some trouble overnight, if they needed some help in the morning, then you would finish that first. Otherwise, just look for loads for that day, for next day. How are you?
I'm okay.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to see if you were okay. And for tomorrow, we'll just looking for something. We'll be looking for something for like afternoon, I guess.
They didn't start to load me yet, so
Yeah, of course.
who knows? Yeah, it always take a good 3 hours, you know that.
I know. Okay, well, I'll let you go. Whenever that's finished, then you can just look for loads for the rest of the week. And then in the meantime, if you're doing everything else yourself, like I am, you can do the invoices, pay some bills, and then, maybe even relax. And then after that, have a lunch. I usually don't go out for lunch. I usually bring something from home. This work can be hectic, especially if you have a lot of trucks. And then what you can see in bigger companies that have 10, 20, 50 trucks or more, you can see dispatchers are covering usually around 10 trucks or so, and that's a lot of work, a lot of stress, and that's why this job is very stressful to me. I vary between 4 and 5 trucks in my own authority, and then if I'm dispatching someone on the side, like an independent dispatcher, that's on top. But I mainly try to focus on my company and on my drivers. If I can get some time to dispatch on the side, and what that means is, like, if someone has their own authority, like an owner operator, then I would help them find loads and charge them a percentage for that. But that works different. Okay, now in this video we are talking only about trucking authority and what I do in that case. And then sometimes you have trucks that break down. If they have a flat tire, you have to look for a service for them, find the nearest place, or if they have a bigger repair, send them to a shop. And nowadays it's really hard to get an open appointment in a repair shop, and then it's hard for them to get parts, and there are long wait times for the trucks to be fixed nowadays. So that kinda it's trouble for companies, especially bigger companies that have a lot of trucks. And also the fuel prices are rising now, so you have to take that into account too. You have to be able to manage your money, manage your expenses, and then make sure you have a profit. If you don't have a profit, then there is no point in doing this. Sometimes, if we have bad times, like recession, then there will be no profit. But then as soon as everything picks up, then you have to shoot to have a profit. You can't just work for your salary. The company has to be healthy and be profitable. Otherwise, there is no sense in doing this. I have a new driver, and as a trucking company, what you have to do is there's a procedure. Most people don't know that it's really complicated to onboard a new driver into a company. There is a big process, and I will be talking about that specifically in one of my videos. But just to tell you what it involves, just so you know, a driver cannot start working for a company unless they qualify. Insurance requirements, company rules, and then also federal government requirements are also a big player. So the first thing what most trucking companies do is when they're about to hire a driver, they would check their driving record and see if they have anything major on the record. and then the insurance has to approve. Then you would forward the driver's license to your insurance, to liability insurance, and they would do a check and see if driver has had anything major. When I say major, it could mean DUI, it could mean reckless driving, CDL, like if their license was revoked, major accidents, things like that. So once the insurance says that it's okay to put that driver on the insurance, then you have to do a drug test as a driver. So this is not a regular drug test that some companies have, like pre-employment drug test. This is a specific DOT pre-employment drug test. And trucking companies, they have to be in a program with a specific drug screen place that qualifies, that does that kind of testing. And then they would have to, the carrier, the employer, they would have to send that driver to do a drug test and wait for the results. It can take anywhere from like 1 to 2, 3 days for those results to come back. And then once you have a negative drug test, then they could continue with the procedure of onboarding the driver. So technically, by law, you cannot have a driver fill out any paperwork like a contract or anything like that until you have a proof that the driver is negative. Government also requires, there's a new thing called clearing house. Also, before a driver starts, it has to be cleared with the government's website called Clearing House, and they have a record of all driver's database, like if they ever tested positive, things like that. And driver has to give a consent for that in order for you as an employer to check them out, and it's all done electronically. So that's another thing that you have to do. After that, there is a lot of paperwork, a lot of forms that government requires you to have. Also, there is a lot of checks as well. A driver has to have a current medical physical DOT card, what they call it. So a driver has to do a physical test, for their, to check their health, if they're fit to be a driver. And this has to be done with also a qualified doctor, a qualified physician that has a license, and it's called National Registry, and then DOT also regulates that. So it has to be performed, and it's a DOT medical card. It's usually good for 2 years. They have to renew every 2 years. And then they also, like if they have a condition, sometimes they give drivers only a 1-year medical card. So you have to worry about that as well. And then once everything is done, then, some companies have orientation. It can take anywhere from few hours to few days. And then a driver is getting familiar with company policies and all kinds of things with their safety manager. And then only then, after all these requirements have been met, then a driver can start driving for the company. And there is a qualification folder here. And then what I have is, pretty simple, because we are a small company. But like it would be one of these here. And big companies, they are more professional looking driver qualification folders. But basically, it's the same thing inside. It contains driver application, medical card, copy of a driver's license, some forms, like government drug screen, negative test. So there's like 10 to 20 forms here in this, let me show you, in this folder that you have to keep in your files for a certain amount of time, certain amount of years actually. Even when the driver leaves, you have to have it. So I'm just gonna show it to you here. Like you see, there's all these files that you have to have. in this folder, and they have to be updated. Some of them have to be updated every year, and some of them stay there, and they are not changed. It depends. And then most companies have a safety manager who takes care of this. I don't, like I said, 5 trucks only here. I do everything myself. So I have some experience. I educated myself, and then I'm trying to follow all the laws, and then have this folder updated. So actually today I have a new driver who is about to start, and everything went through the drug test and all that. Insurance accepted him, and now I have to, with all his, this is all the paperwork that, he filled out that I have, and then I have to sort it through the folders, put it into his folder, and then say there are some things for the truck. And then as you see this driver qualification folder here, there are also truck and trailer folders that you have to have, and that includes everything about the truck, like the inspections, the repairs, contracts that you have with your drivers, and then a list with all the repairs, and then even receipts like DOT. They want you to have all the receipts that when you fix the truck, like maintenance logs and all that, everything goes into that folder. So if they ever audit you, then they can see that you're taking care of your equipment. Dispatch.
Oh, yeah. Is your truck in Kansas City tomorrow still available?
Yes, it is.
All right. I have 2 loads I need to cover. One of them, they both pick up in Kansas City on Friday. One of them goes to Hazleton, PA. One goes to Rochester, New York. Any interest?
Yeah, sure. How heavy are they?
They're going to be around 43,000 pounds.
Is it like more or less than 43?
They have it at 43 on the dot.
Okay, what's the product?
It's pasta. So I need the trailer cleaned out, dry. It'll be a dry load.
Okay. And then when can it, like the Hazleton one, let's start with that. When can it pick up and deliver?
The Hazleton pickup is at 10:30 a.m. and the Rochester pickup is at noon.
Okay.
The Hazleton delivers 10 p.m. on Sunday, and the Rochester is at 7 a.m. on Monday.
Okay, I think the Rochester one would work better in that case.
Okay.
How much are you paying for them?
I got on the Rochester, I've got 3,100, and Hazleton I have 33.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask my driver, like, if he is interested in either one of them?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second, okay?
No worries. Go ahead. Hello.
Morning. How are you, Mister?
Good. How you doing, Enis?
Good. The reason I just want to make it quick, I have a broker on the other line. He's offering me 2 loads, and I wanted to ask you if you are comfortable going over there. One goes to Hazleton, Pennsylvania. One goes to Rochester, New York. Which one is more fun? Well, and then let me tell you this as well. The Hazleton and I know you probably don't want this one, but Hazleton delivers at 10 p.m. on Sunday. The Rochester, the Rochester delivers at 7 a.m. Monday.
Yeah, Rochester would probably be better.
Okay. And are you okay going to Rochester? I don't want to push you if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I'll go there. That's all right.
Cool. I think the Rochester picks, one is 10:30 a.m. pickup, one is noon. I don't know which one is which, but I think you should be okay. And they both pick up right there in Kansas City.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Then I'll see if I can take the Rochester one.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I thought he would be interested in the Rochester one because delivers, you said, like 7 a.m. Monday, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then is that one you said 31?
On Rochester, yeah.
Would you do 34?
34. Let me give me 1 second. Let me put you on hold. Let me see if I can get any more.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah.
So I can get another 100. I can get 3,200.
All right, that's fair. Let's do it.
32.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Alo,
Šta ima?
šta evo ide ga istovar.
Na istovar u Holand i onda ideš onaj tamo na autovar.
Ja, to ako me prime na vrijeme.
I ja, valjda će te...
Brokerska pozva, čim broker kaže, ode kud dovovi. Znam odmah o čemu se radi. Možda nisam u pravu ovaj puta.
Ili ono, idi ti tamo, čekaj on tebe.
Ja, on dođe, momak, imaš termin.
Ja, a ja mislim da će biti onaj, ok, zastora. One of the things that I do after all my loads are covered is I go here, I have an email where my drivers send me the proof of deliveries, and we also call them bill of lading, and that's what the driver gets when they get loaded, and that's a proof of the delivery when they deliver a load, and the receiver signs the paperwork and they send it to us, and then we can get money for that paperwork, send it to whomever we booked it with. Okay, so if you send it directly to a broker or a factoring company, and we'll talk about that, then you will get that payment depending on the payment terms. If you work with a factoring company, usually it's sometimes same day or next day, so that's really good. You have a lot of funds to work with. But if you're charging the broker directly, then you can expect to be paid anywhere from like 2 weeks to like 2 months or even more, depending on the freight broker. And then we'll talk about that roles as well, what a freight broker is, what a factoring company is. But anyway, so when a driver delivers a load, they send me the bill of lading. So that document shows delivery location. Let me try to find something here that's not upside down like this here. Shows where it was picked up, the commodity. Then I would just go here and add planned load and put all the information here, produce an invoice, and then just use the bill of lading here and the rate confirmation that we get from the broker, and then I'll show you what that rate confirmation looks like in a second here. So it could look something like this, where the broker sends you the information about the load, where it picks up, and then it has a rate, how much they're paying for the load on that rate confirmation, and then this is a legal document that you can use in order to request the money for that payment. So what you do is actually you combine these 3 documents. You combine the rate confirmation, the invoice that you made here, and then the bill of lading, proof of delivery. Usually these 3 documents, and then you sometimes you can put them together into one document, or just send them separately to the customer, whoever you booked the load with, and then that is all you need in order to get paid, and then you have to wait for the payment. Okay, so that's how it works in the trucking industry as far as the payments go. What a factoring company is, they basically buy out invoices from a carrier, from a trucking authority, and if you do a load and you need to get paid, it's going to be hard to get paid right away from that freight broker or direct shipper, whoever you're working with. So that's when the factoring companies come into play. They charge anywhere from like 2 to 3%, small, less or more, depends on a lot of factors, how many trucks you have, how long you've been with them. But 2 to 3% they charge you. So let's just say you book a load and you want to deliver a load for $1,000. If you were to send that invoice to the broker, that you book the load with, or the shipper, if you work directly with them, then it would take them anywhere from like 2 weeks to 2 months to pay you. And then it's hard to wait for that money because you have to pay your drivers, you have to maintain the trucks, pay for the fuel, a lot of expenses. And then factoring companies would give you an advance, or they would they say that they buy out the invoice from you. That's what they say, like they buy the invoice from you, $1,000 for a load, for an example, and then they charge you $20 if they're charging you 2%. So you basically get $980 right away, sometimes even same day or the next day. So you have money to work with, and then they forward that to the broker, the freight broker, and then it's only payable to them. Broker cannot pay you because you signed a contract with factoring company that you would invoice all the loads, through them, and you give him a notice of assignment. They forward it to the broker, and now the broker sees that they can only pay that invoice to the factoring company, not to the carrier, and that's how it works. There's more to it. Check out RTS if you don't have a factoring company. There's a link in description. RTS is good. I work with an agent there. He's a really cool guy. His name's Amel. Check it out. You can speak to him directly. I even did an interview with him on the channel. And real quick, how the loads get booked. If you have your trucks, your own authority, your own company, and you want to work, how do they actually get booked? Well, there are so-called load boards where freight brokers post loads. And when they have a load, they go to a load board. The most famous one is DAT board. You have a lot of other ones like truckstop.com, 123 load board, and then other freight brokers load boards. They have their own load boards. So what me as a small carrier does is I go to that load board. You pay subscription. Sometimes you can't even get access to it unless you have authority from the DOT. Sometimes you can. The main point is you go there and brokers post loads. Let's say you have a truck in Grand Rapids, Michigan that wants to go out tomorrow. Like you have a driver available, you have a truck, they want to work, make money. You want to work, make money. Then you would post a truck there, and then these brokers there are thousands of brokers, thousands of trucking companies, and these brokers sometimes they have access to thousands of loads all over the nation, maybe even all over the world. But what they do is, like, if they have a load, whoever has a load in Grand Rapids, they post it to that load board, and then I can go there and see what's available to book. I can find a load maybe to Texas, to Pennsylvania, to Iowa, wherever I wanted to send my truck. And then you negotiate with these brokers. You call them, they have loads specifics, and they post them, and then you tell them, hey, I see that you have a load from Grand Rapids, Michigan tomorrow to Dallas, Texas. How much are you paying for the load? How much does it weigh? When does it pick up? When does it deliver? What's the product? What's the commodity that we are going to be hauling? We need to know a lot of details about that load before we actually book the load. That's what we say. We book the load. If we agree on all those terms, and then we agree on the rate, and then there is a lot of negotiation in this process. Okay, you can watch my videos. I have a lot of videos about that. A day in the life of a trucking dispatcher. I have almost 20 videos like that.
Thank you for calling. At AMX Logistics, we are committed. Thank you for calling CSS. Please hold for the next available agent.
Hey, mate.
Hey, good morning. You have a Edgerton, Kansas tomorrow to Villa Rica, Georgia. Oh, that's for today, is it?
Let me see.
Yeah,
that's for today. It just got covered, too.
thanks.
All right.
Bye. Almost 20 videos like that. So there's a lot of negotiation, and then they might tell you, well, this load is paying $2,000. And then you can tell them, this does not work for me. I have a lot of expenses. It should be paying more. The markets, like the average rates that everyone else is paying, is much higher than that. How about you give me $2,600, for example? And then they might come back, well, I can't do that. I could do maybe $2,300. So now they already went up $300, but it's still not where you want to be. Then you might say, well, the lowest I can do is 2,450, and then they may say, well, 2,400. So, and then at the end, you book the load for 2,400. Sometimes brokers will not negotiate, but usually it's a common practice, and that's how you make money. Okay, if you were just to book a load for $2,000, you would possibly lose on the possibility to get another $400. And then since you book like 5, 10, 20 loads a day, sometimes big companies do that, or in a week, it adds up. Okay, so if you booked 100 loads in a month, and then you negotiated your way up to like $100 and $200 more per each load, it adds up. That's a lot of money. Okay, so we always want to negotiate, and that's how the loads get booked. So these freight brokers, they have access to a lot of shippers. If you are a carrier and you have 5 trucks like me, and I go to a local warehouse and tell them, hey, I have 5 trucks, and then they might be having hundreds of loads and that go to different areas of United States, and I don't have available trucks all the time for those loads. Maybe my drivers will not go to that area, and I can't do that. So what freight broker does, they don't have their own trucks, but they have authority to book those loads and then resell those loads to a carrier. What they do is they tell the shipper, well, I have access to thousands of trucking companies, and then someone will be in that area tomorrow or in 2 weeks, can choose between those thousands, tens of thousands of trucks, and then find you someone that will do the load for you. For me, I can't do that because I don't have that many trucks, that much availability, and that's why we need those freight brokers. Big companies, big trucking companies, they usually have a contracted freight that works directly with shippers. They have people specifically in their offices that work with that. They would go out like salesmen and then find loads for their own trucks, and they may have hundreds, thousands of trailers that they can just leave at the shipper, and they can load them and then be ready for the driver that it's preloaded. So that's how they work. They have a lot of equipment and a lot of people who do that, and they can make more money that way. But those are big players. With us, smaller companies, and then I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's around 95% of trucking companies in United States of America have less than 5 trucks. Just think about that for a minute. 95% of all these trucking companies that you see have less than 5 trucks. Okay, so that's a lot of companies. That's a lot of trucks there, and we don't know that. Okay, and they have this saying like, if you have it, a truck brought it. Okay, so everything is moved here on a truck, and then it's mostly these small companies like mine. Maybe an owner-operator that has their own truck and their own authority, like one truck, and they do it. But people don't know that. People don't understand how it works, what is involved in that process. And think about it. Like if I book a load from, like let's say we are in Grand Rapids, I want to book a full load, and it's a 53-foot trailer. You can put over 20 pallets of something on that trailer and move it from one side of the town to another side, or better yet, like move it like 100 miles from here to somewhere, to like Lansing, Michigan, okay, which is like 80, 90 miles. They're not gonna pay me much. They're gonna pay my truck maybe between $300 and $600 for like over 20 pallets to move over there. But if you go to post office and try to send a package this big, maybe like 50 pounds, it's gonna be almost that much money. These trucks are underpaid. They go by volume. There are a lot of factors involved. Equipment is very expensive. You have to pay the driver, insurance, fuel, liability. There's a lot of risk involved. And then yet, they don't pay near enough what these trucks should be paid. And we have been fighting with that for years. And, there are a lot of regulations as well that, prevent us from making more money. I don't want to sound greedy, but at the end, if you try to rent a piece of equipment that's $200,000 right now, see how much is that going to cost you if you were to rent it for like 5 or 6 hours or for all day to do something. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars. With us, they try to go really cheap because there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of trucks on the road, a lot of companies, and then everyone is competing against each other, and everyone's trying to make some money, and everyone knows that, and they take advantage of that situation.